Well, hello and welcome to everyone joining us here today. I'm Fiona Langsharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Well, I'm so excited. We're talking about our Gold Lactation Online Conference 2021 right now, and we have a very special guest here with us today. We've got Wendy Ingman here with us today, and she's going to be talking about the biology of the mammary gland in lactation. And we'll be talking to her in just a moment here. I do want to remind everyone that registration is open for this event. So you'll be able to go to the website right now to goldlactation.com. You'll also be able to see what's coming up and, of course, check out all the schedules for when Wendy's speaking as well. And, of course, it'll be different for everyone at this international conference, but we want to make sure that you've checked in to all the times as well. Now, Wendy is going to be here with us live, like many of our speakers. So want to be sure that you can join us on those live events as well, live events as well. And they are here so that you can collaborate and join in the conversation with the presenters. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce Wendy Ingman to you as well. And so Wendy, if you could introduce yourself and tell us where you are in the world and what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, thank you, Fiona. So I am based in Adelaide, which is the capital city of South Australia in Australia. So I'm all the way over the other side of the world, and we have completely different weather and different time of day to you guys over in the north of America. And I am a breast cancer researcher and mammary gland biologist. So I study the different types of cells which make up our breast tissue and how they interact with each other and how they function, how they develop during puberty, how they change across the menstrual cycle and during pregnancy, and of course, how they coordinate this amazing process of acquiring the ability to make milk, which we need to nurture our next generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Boy, just when you're just talking and telling me about all those things, Wendy, I just kind of get all excited because I'm thinking about all the questions I want to ask you today and of course on our live day as well. But other things that I want to know about you are how did you get into this line of work? Like when was your interest first peaked in this area?
Well, so it probably goes right back to high school.
Hmm.
Science lessons, we had, it was a video of a woman giving birth
Ah,
in my year 10 science class, and it was very graphic.
right.
And everyone around me was making these noises, going, "Oh, that's disgusting. Oh my God, what are we looking at?" And I just had tears running down my face
Oh.
because I thought, wow, what an amazing process this is, how we make new life. And one of the things that has always amazed me about our bodies is that we do all of these things and we don't know we're doing them.
Right.
So we're just sitting here today, breathing in and out and talking to each other, and all of those processes in our bodies are just ticking away and doing what they need to do.
Mm,
And we don't know anything about what we actually, we don't have to think about it for them to do that.
hmm.
And so that's really where my interest in biology came from, and particularly reproductive biology, just with the amazing process of producing new life, and then becoming more and more interested in how the mammary gland works, because it is such an amazing organ.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell me a little bit about your current position? Because you are the associate professor of breast cancer research, and so
Mhm.
how and why was that something that you wanted to pursue as well?
Well, so I started off as this mammary gland biologist and really trying to understand how the breast works. And what becomes more and more clear is how this affects breast cancer risk.
Mm,
So we have breast cancer being the most common type of cancer in women. Here in Australia, and it's probably similar where you are, Fiona, 25% of all cancers diagnosed in women are in the breast.
mm,
So there's something going on in the biology there, which is making this tissue really susceptible to cancer. So that's something that I've become more and more interested in. And one of the big research interests of my group is to understand risk factors for breast cancer and how they actually play out at the biological level. So, for example, breast density is a risk factor for breast cancer, and going through the menstrual cycle, the more menstrual cycles a woman has, the more likely she is to develop breast cancer later
Mm,
in life. So understanding those underlying biological mechanisms is really important. And if we can understand them, then we can start to take steps to prevent breast cancer. So that's kind of where we came from with our
right.
breast cancer research.
Yeah, fantastic. That's wonderful. Well, I mean, we're so reliant, honestly, as a woman who has breastfed, who is concerned about cancers of the breast. It's so good to hear that, we're still progressing in the research. I know for a long time, the woman's body just was understudied for
Mm.
so long and still is in a lot of areas. But I know that this is an area that obviously is getting some light and I'm glad that you're in it, right? I mentioned earlier today when we were talking that I sort of geek out on some of these things because I find them so fascinating. I'm not an expert by any means, but the interest in how the cells work in the breast is just fascinating to me. So you said you're a mammary biologist, and I'd never heard that title before.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, could have a whole career change here happening.
There
But
are there are not many of us. We're a very small group internationally. We get together sometimes and we geek
yeah,
out with each other.
yeah.
It's that one time when you can talk to people and we all get it.
Right. No, that's fantastic. And honestly, I find that when I'm talking with clients, I mean, it's not very often that I'll go down the path of talking about the different cells in the breast and how they, talk to each other and how they respond and all the rest of it. But I think that the lack of knowledge that we have as women about our own bodies is really telling in the experience of breastfeeding. I think there's a correlation for the timelines and sort of the length of time that perhaps we breastfeed. Is that something that you have thought about too, Wendy? Because that really strikes me as very fascinating.
Yeah, well, just while you were talking, I was thinking of my own breastfeeding experience. So being a mammary gland biologist and knowing so much about how it all works
Yeah,
is quite different to the the practical experience.
gotcha.
I was very determined that I was going to breastfeed and knew all about it and knew why it was important
Hmm.
and how it worked. And I remember experiencing the letdown reflex and think, oh, I know exactly what's happening here. I can imagine the biology working. Um,
Sure.
but it is quite different, to experience it and to have, and I had a few breastfeeding problems
Hmm.
as a lot of people do when they start out with attachment and trying to get everything right and really relying on lactation consultants to help me through and
Right.
guide me. And it always just struck me as interesting that I could know so much about something, but still struggle to do it,
Yeah.
and then need others which had that expertise to help me through. But I do agree with you that the more we know about how things work, the
Hmm.
more engaged we are. I say I'm a mammary gland biologist, but particularly women's health is
Mm,
my interest, and how all of those different parts of our bodies interact with each other.
right.
So for example, the menstrual cycle, and how that interacts with the breast tissue. So I think that level of awareness that
Hmm.
we can have about our own bodies and identify the changes that happen and understand what's behind those changes, what's
Hmm.
actually happening, really does increase our awareness to, eh, have more ability to do what we want to do. So to continue breastfeeding, or also, to check our breasts regularly for
Right.
for
Yeah.
changes as well, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. No,
Mm,
absolutely. Well, it becomes sort of knowledge is power in a sense,
mhm,
and self-empowerment is so important today for folks who are, wanting to do certain things. And even as professionals, I've similar experience to you as a professional. I was a lactation consultant, but still ran into, concerns and problems that I couldn't identify without calling someone in,
really.
yeah,
So even lactation consultants have the
yes,
problems.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm,
Because postpartum, you need I mean, that's what we know. We always need support. You need a village
yeah.
around you, right? A community to build on, what's happened. So that's wonderful. All right, I feel like I'm geeking out, and I said to you this was gonna happen, and I can't wait for you to be online on the day with us, which is gonna be really exciting. But let's talk just a little bit. Let's give everyone just a little teaser of what to expect from your presentation. So, what are you going to be taking us through on the day, Wendy?
Okay, well, I am going to be explaining all of the interesting types of cells and how they interact with each other and how they build a functioning lactating mammary gland or breast.
Right.
So, the incredible changes that happen to a woman's body, and not just during lactation itself, but all of the events that lead up to being able to produce milk. So, right back to puberty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to be talking about uh, how um, how lactation works in other mammals.
Ah,
And I think this is really fascinating, and particularly marsupials.
ah,
As an Australian, marsupials are particularly close to my heart. But also, I think that their lactation strategy is just absolutely fascinating. Uh, I've given lectures about marsupial lactation while I've been 8 months pregnant,
mm-hmm.
and really appreciating how they have this amazing ability to give birth to these tiny underdeveloped young,
Right.
and then the young climb up into the pouch and complete their development through lactation. And thinking, actually,
Amazing.
that's a really good strategy.
Yeah.
Uh, we should have that
Yeah.
strategy because
Yeah.
I'd rather give birth to a tiny uh, little newborn and have them in my pouch.
Yeah.
But I think we can learn a lot
Mm,
about our own strategies for lactation through
right.
comparing them to other mammals and what they do. So I'm hoping with my lecture to really give an appreciation of what we do,
Mm-hmm.
how our lactation strategy
Mm-hmm.
provides the optimal development for our offspring, and that kind of real appreciation for this amazing thing that our bodies can do,
Right.
which we often don't give it a lot of thought, but it's there doing what we need it to do already.
Well, just wow. I can't wait, honestly. So if you're ready, like I am, to take your learning to a whole new level of understanding, I think the gift that Wendy's going to bring to us is that she really is so skilled as a researcher and a biologist, which is going to be fabulous. So I can't wait to hear more from you, of course. So thank you so much, Wendy, for being with us today. It's been wonderful having you here.
Oh, thank you, Fiona. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Just a quick reminder before I let everyone go, please go to the website, thegoldlactation.com. Registration is open right now. Wendy is going to be here with us live, so you can check out the time and date for your area. And of course, our conference begins live on March 29th as well. We'll look forward to seeing you all online. Thank you once again to Wendy for joining us here today. And of course, to you, all of our viewers. Bye bye for now, everyone.